The gentleman yields. I now recognize Mr. LaLota.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you for your important leadership on this American matter, and appreciate all the witnesses being here today. Mr. Ballard, I'm the father of 3 young girls. My daughters are 14, 12, and 9, and I watched with great concern the movie that depicted your service to our country, The Sound of Freedom, and appreciate that you put your life and your family, set you free to be able to put others before you and your own family, and I appreciate you making that sacrifice for young children that you didn't even know. In a system with so many failures, you, sir, are a bright spot, a beacon of hope, a light that has helped shine on this crisis that America has, that has impacted innocent humans for too long. Sir, you mentioned in your testimony that there are loopholes in our immigration laws relative to this border crisis. I represent a suburban district east of New York City, which is suffering from a migrant crisis right now. The city's mayor, a Democrat, says that this migrant crisis will destroy New York City. Mr. Ballard, sir, how familiar are you with the history behind America's asylum process, specifically that the historic intent behind the asylum process was to provide a safe haven for folks from other countries, to have a safe haven here in this country if they're under imminent danger of persecution in their own country, rather than a traditional immigration or visa process? How familiar are you with modern-day American asylum process and the historical nature of it?
I'm relatively familiar.
If I told you that under this administration, the asylum process is one by which an asylum applicant merely utters the right 20 or 30 words, but has no bona fide proof that they're under an imminent danger of persecution, they're granted entry into our country, they're assigned an asylum hearing usually a couple years ahead of time, and that ultimately around 80% of those seeking asylum, their applications ultimately get rejected on the merits. Would you agree that given these realities that there are tremendous loopholes in how our asylum process is currently administered?
Absolutely. You just got to show up at the border, and there's various loopholes, and you're going to get in.
Now, would you agree that these loopholes that you mentioned in your testimony just now isn't serving the intended purpose of providing refuge to those who are truly seeking shelter from imminent persecution of their home country?
It absolutely is not. In fact, it's affording opportunities for traffickers and for children to be abused.
And that was my last question, sir. With respect to our traditional immigration process, which is usually meant to complement America's labor needs, as in addition to the person or people trying to come into our country, can you describe, with just a minute or so remaining, how the diversion of the initial intent of our asylum process has exacerbated the human crisis that we're here to talk about today?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, our laws are good. Our laws would work. I wish we'd put more asylum courts. I wish we would have immigration reform. I wish we'd put more asylum courts as an attachment to our embassies in the Central American countries, so they don't have to take this journey to those who deserve asylum. Unfortunately, those who are showing up, the vast majority don't. They're going to get in. They know they're going to get in. And again, traffickers are taking advantage of it, making fake families, hurting children that way, letting them released to really anybody because they're not vetting them. They're not affording foreign children the same thing we would afford to any American child who turned up unaccompanied in a city. Why wouldn't we afford them the same? So they're taking advantage of what is a good process, an asylum process. They're taking advantage of that because their intent isn't to seek asylum. Their intent is to get into the United States or, even worse, hurt children in the process to make money.
Well said, sir. I'll say once again, thank you on behalf of the committee for the sacrifice that you and your family have made to make other lives better. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentlemen.